Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome to database course. In today's lecture we will learn about division operation, aggregation operations and query tree in relational algebra. In our previous lecture we have discussed different join operations which include theta join, equi-join, natural join, and in outer join we discussed about left outer join, right outer join and full outer join. In today's lecture, we will discuss about division operation, then how we can apply different aggregate operations and how we can draw a query tree from a relational expression. So first we have division operation. Division operation is a binary operation. It means that we apply division operation on two tables. Then it is an extended operation. Extended operation means that division operation is not a basic relational algebra operation, as we can also perform division operation by the combination of basic relational expression. We will see how we can do it. It is best suited for queries that include all. So whenever a query is given and it contains this word all, then we can apply division operation. For example, if a statement is given as the students that are registered in all the courses, okay, find the name of the students who are registered in all the courses, or find the last name of employees who have assigned all the projects, or find the customer who has purchased all the products. So you can see that in all these queries there is a common word which is all. So we can apply division operation when we have all in our query statement. So R divided by S is the division operation that defines a relation over the attribute C that consists of set of tuples from R that match the combination of every tuple in S. So when we have two relations or tables R and S and we apply division operation, so the result will contain the attributes C and the values of that attributes will be the tuples from R that match every value from the S. So now we will define this attribute C. So assume relation R is defined over the attribute set A and relation S is defined over the attribute set B such that B is a proper subset of A. B is a proper subset of A means that all the values of B are present in A, but there is at least one value of A which is not present in B. So if we consider that A is an attribute set of first relation which is R and B is an attribute set of second relation S. So B must be a proper subset of A. So how? Let's see an example. Here we have relation R and we have SID and CID in relation R. Okay, then we have different values here, and here we have relation S and we only have this CID. Now this is relation R and this is relation S. This is the attribute set A, SID and CID, and this is the attribute set B. So now you can see that B is a proper subset of A because the attribute, all the attribute in B are present in A, CID is present in A, but there is at least one attribute which is not present in B. So you can say that this is a proper subset of this A. Now how we will find this C attribute? C attribute is actually the set of attributes of R that are not attributes of S. So the attribute which is present in R but not in S. So we get this SID as C. So now we know two things. In division operation, the result will contain attribute C. We have defined this attribute C here. The attribute that is present in R but not in S. And it contains those tuples of R that matches with every tuple of S. So we will see it with example. Here we have a statement, identify all clients who have viewed all properties with 3 rooms. So here we have this viewing table and property for rent. We want to identify the clients who have viewed all properties with 3 rooms. So first we have to select the properties with 3 rooms. So if you see, here we have this room column and the properties with 3 rooms are this PG4 and PG36. Okay, we have to apply select operation with the condition that rooms equals to 3 on property for rent. And then we just select property number column from this table. So we will get this column. And in this column we have only these 2 values. So you can see here that we get this property number column with 2 values where the rooms are 3. And from viewing table we have selected only client number and property number, because for our query these 2 columns are enough. So we have selected client number and property number. Now this is the result. This table is the result of this expression and this table is the result of this expression. Now we have to apply this division operation between these 2 tables. Now for division, we know that first we will select the column which is present in R and not in S. So here if you see, property number is present in both tables but client number is only present in R. So in the output we will only consider the client number. Now we will consider only those tuples that match with every tuple of relation S. So we have this CR56, it matches with PA14. Okay, we don't have PA14, so it doesn't matter. Then we have this CR5 with PG4 and CR56 with PG36. So this CR56 is actually matches with both these values. So we will write it in our result. Next, if you see, we have CR76, it matches with PG4. But we cannot find CR76 with PG36. Then we have this CR62. It doesn't has any matching value with either of these. So we will get only this CR56 because this is the only tuple that matches with every value of this S table. So that's how division operator work. We consider only that column which is present in R and not in S. And then we select those tuples that matches with all the tuples of table S. Now we can express the division operation R divided by S in terms of basic operations as given here. When we said that division operation is an extended operation, it means that we can perform the division operation with the help of basic relational operations. With the help of these operations, here you can see we have projection, we have cross product, we have set difference. With these are the basic relational operations, and with the help of these operations we can also apply division operation. Now I will show you how. Okay, first we have considered this whole table as R and this table as S. This table we get from property for rent and this table we get from viewing. We don't need to consider the whole tables because these columns are enough. We have selected client number and property number from viewing table because we only require these 2 columns, and then we have selected property number from property for rent where the rooms are 3. So we get this table. Now if we apply this operation on these 2 tables, first we have to find the C attribute set from R. We have to project C over R. Now we have to select this attribute set C from R. We have this table R and we have to select that column which is present in R and not in S, because this is the definition of C attribute set, that the set of attributes of R that are not attributes of S. So if you see here, In table R we have client number and property number, while in table S we have property number. So client number column is the column that is present in R and not in S. So here it is written as project C over R. We know that in project operation we eliminate duplicates. From here we will select the distinct values of client number. We have CR56, then we have CR76, then CR56 is already written, then we will write CR62, and then CR56 is already written. So we get this as a result of this expression and we refer it as T1. So this is our T1, which is actually the set of attributes from R that are present in R and not in S, and duplicates are eliminated. So from these values we get this T1. Okay, we have solved this first expression. Next we have to multiply this T1 with S. So we have to take a Cartesian product of T1 and S. This is our S table and this is our T1. We know that in Cartesian product we multiply each row of first table with every row of second table. So let's do it first. Now first I am multiplying CR56 with PG4 and PG36. CR56 with PG4, CR56 with PG36. Next we will take this value from T1 and I will multiply it with both PG4 and PG36. So we have CR76 with PG4 and CR76 with PG36. Next we have this CR62. So we will multiply CR62 with PG4 and CR62 with PG36. So we got this result from the cross product of T1 and S. Now what we have to do, we have to subtract R from this expression, right? Here it is this set difference operation. This is T1 cross S and this is R table. Now we will find the values which are present in this table and not in R. So I will cross the values which are present in both and write it here as T1 cross S. Okay, so we have CR56 PG4 here. We have CR56 PG4 here. So we will cancel it. Next we have CR56 and PG36. We have CR56 and PG36 here as well, so we will cancel it. Next we have CR76 and PG4. We have CR76 and PG4 in our table as well, so we will cancel it. Next we have CR76 and PG36. Okay, we cannot find this pair in our table. Next we have CR62 and PG4. Okay, we don't have CR62 and PG4 pair in our table. Next we have CR62 and PG36. Also we don't have CR62 and PG36 in our table. So we get these three values when we subtract R from T1 cross S. Now these are the values which are present in T1 cross S and not in R. Okay, now we have to again project C over the result of this expression. Now this is the result of this whole expression and we have to project C from this expression. So we have to select only client number, and in client number we got CR76 and CR62. We will write the duplicate values only once because this is projection operation. Okay, now this will become T2. Okay, this is the resulting table T2 from this whole expression. Next we have to subtract T2 from T1. So we have to find the values that are present in T1 and not in T2. Here we have T1 and here we have T2. So let's find out which values are present in T1 and not in T2. CR56 is present in T1 but not in T2. CR76 is present in both. We will cancel it, and CR62 is present in both, so we will cancel it. So what we got? We got CR56 as a result, and this is our final result, which is T. So as you can see that this is the same value which we got previously. So this is the client number that has viewed all the properties that has 3 rooms. So we can perform division operation in both ways. We can perform division operations directly like here, or we can perform division operation with the help of basic relational algebra operations as well. Next we have aggregate operations. These functions take a collection of values as input and return a single value as a result. So sometimes we have to apply some calculations on columns. For that we have aggregate operations. We take input a collection of values and the result is a single value. For example, we have count. So it returns the number of values in the associated attribute. For example, we have to count the client number. So we will count all the values that are present in column client number, and then we get that one single number as a result. Sum returns the sum of the values in the associated attribute. It will sum all the values. Average will find the average value in that attribute. Minimum will return the smallest value in that attribute, and maximum will return the maximum value. So these are aggregate operations. For example, we have a statement as how many properties cost more than 350 per month to rent. So here it is asking how many. It is not asking which properties, it is asking how many. So we have to give a number here. So first we will find those properties where rent is greater than 350, and then we will apply. This is the aggregate operator. It's like calligraphic G, and in the subscript first we will write the aggregate operation, which is count here, and then we will write the column name on which we are applying the aggregate operation. And what we are doing, we are using the rename operator. We will get the result R with the column name as my count. So if we apply this on our property for rent table, here we have property for rent table. Now we have to find the properties where the rent is greater than 350. So this is 650. This is with the rent 650. So we will count it. Next is also greater than 350. Here we have rent 350. We will not include it. 375 is also greater than 350. 600 is also greater than 350. And 450 is also greater than 350. So we got these property numbers with the rent greater than 350. Now we will count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you see here, we have this result as 5. We have renamed this column as my count, and this is actually the R table. Next we have find the minimum, maximum and average of staff salary. So from the salary column of table staff, we have to find the minimum, maximum and average value. So here we have this staff table. This is the salary column. So if you see, the minimum value we have is 9,000 and maximum value we have is 30,000. So here you can see that minimum value is 9,000, maximum is 30,000, and then we find the average. You know, average is the sum of the values divided by number of values. So this is actually the expression. We have applied the rename operator. So we will get the result as R with the columns as my minimum, my max and my average, as you can see here. Then we have applied the aggregate operation, which is minimum on salary, next maximum on salary, and next average on salary. So first we write the aggregate operation and then the column name on which we apply the aggregate operation, and then here we have the table name. So in this way we can apply aggregate operation on different columns of our table. Next we have grouping operation. So This groups the tuples of relation R by grouping attributes GA and then applies the aggregate function list to define a new relation. AL contains one or more aggregate function attribute pair. The resulting relation contains the grouping attributes GA along with the result of each of the aggregate function. So we can also use grouping operation. In grouping operation, we actually apply aggregate operation based on some attribute. So first here we will define that column or attribute on the basis of which we are grouping, and then we will give the set of aggregate operator and the column name like count on client number, and then we have this table name as R. For example, find the number of staff working in each branch and sum of their salaries. Now you see that here the statement is to find the number of staff in each branch. It doesn't say that you have to find the total number of staff. It says the number of staff in each branch. So it means that we have to group them on the basis of the branch number. So we have this staff table. We will group them together on the basis of branch number, and then we will count the staff number that belong to each branch. So here we have applied the rename operator and we have defined the column names in our result. Here we have to define attribute for grouping. So we are grouping them together on the basis of branch number. So first we have written branch number, then the aggregate operator, and then we have applied the aggregate operation on different columns, like we are counting staff number and we are finding the sum of salary from staff. For example, we have this branch number as B005. We have to find all the staff that belongs to B05. So first we have this SL21 staff number that belongs to B005 branch, and also we have SL41 that belong to this branch. So if you count total number of staff members that are working in B005 branch, so we get 2. So here if you see that when we count it, we get 2. Now we have to find the sum of their salaries. So we have this salary and we will count it and we will get this 39,000 as value. Next we have another branch which is B003. So we have this staff member that belongs to B003. This also belongs to B003, and this SG5 also belongs to B003. So when we will count it 1, 2, 3, we get this 3 value, and then we will find the sum of their salaries and we will get this value 54,000. Same we have done with the B007 branch number. Here we have only one staff member, so we have written 1 and his salary is 9,000. So we have written the salary as 9,000. So you can see that we are actually counting the staff members on the basis of branch number, that how many staff members belong to this branch and this branch and this branch. So this is grouping operation. We are grouping them together on the basis of some attribute or column, which in this case is a branch number. Next we have a query tree. A query tree is a tree data structure that corresponds to a relational algebra expression. It represents the input relations of the query as leaf nodes of the tree and represents the relational algebra operations as internal nodes. So actually query tree is a data structure that corresponds to a relational algebra expression. We can actually draw a query tree from relational algebra operation. It tells us the order of query execution. So it takes the tables or relations as leaf nodes and the relational algebra operations like project, select or join operation as internal nodes. An execution of the query tree consists of executing an internal node operation whenever its operand represented by its child nodes are available, and then replacing that internal node by the relation that results from executing the operation. Actually, query tree execute internal node operation, which is a relational algebra operation, whenever its child nodes, which are the relations or the leaf nodes, are available. So it will apply that operation on the relations, and then when it will finish, it will replace that internal node by the resulting relation. The execution terminates when the root node is executed and produces the result relation for the query. So when we reach the root node, we actually terminates the execution and we get our final result. Here we have example. Now this is the expression. Here you see that we are selecting those rows from project where location is Stafford. We are applying join operation with the department on the basis of the D number is equals to D number, and then we are taking join with the result of this expression and employee table. And after that we are selecting these columns from this whole expression. So how we will draw a query tree from this expression? First, in order to take a product of these two tables, project and department, we have to find those rows from the project where location is Stafford. So first we will take the project relation SP. So here we have this table as a leaf node, and then in internal node we have applied the relational algebra operation, which is a select statement, in which we are selecting those rows from the project where location P location is Stafford. So after applying this operation, here we will get that resulting relation. Now the result of this expression will be multiplied with the department table. This is again the leaf node, and we are multiplying it with the result of this expression. So when we take the cross product, we have this condition that the D number from project is equals to D number of department, and we are joining them. Now the result of this expression will again multiplied with the employee table on the condition that manager SSN is equals to SSN. And then after getting the result of this expression, we will project these columns from this expression. Now in order to execute this two operation, we need the result from one operation. The one operation needs to execute first before executing the two operation, because we are using the result of one operation in two operation. Similarly, to execute this three operation, we need the result from two operation. Like here you can see that before taking a cross product of department and project, we need to find the rows in project which satisfies this condition. So first we apply this condition, and then we take a cross product of department and project. And then you see here we have this bracket, so the result of this expression is multiplied with the employee. So this employee table is multiplied with the result of this whole expression, as you can see here. And after finding that this whole expression, we are applying this project operation, which is our final result. So in this way we can draw a query tree from relational expression with the tables as leaf nodes and the expression as internal nodes. Now let's do some practice. We have a question as draw the query tree for the following expression. We have to draw a query tree from this expression. Here you can see that we are applying left join between viewing and property for rent, but first we have to select these columns from property for rent. So if we have this table as property for rent as a leaf node, now we are applying this relational algebra operation, which is as project on property number, street and city. We have written this expression. Now we are applying a left join between these two tables. So here we have this viewing table as a leaf node, and we are joining it on the condition that property for rent dot property number is equals to viewing dot property number. Then here we will get our final result. So you can see that here the relations are the leaf nodes. First we select these columns from property for rent, and then we apply the left join on the basis of condition that the property number of property for rent is equals to the property number from viewing table. Now we have given a query tree and we have to write a relational algebra expression from this query tree. So first we have to apply this select operation on department. So here we will write the department table name, and we have to apply this select statement that D name is equals to research. We are applying join between the result of this expression and employee table, and we have applied this join on the condition that D number is equals to D number. And then on the result of this expression we are projecting fname, lname and address. So we will apply this project operation on fname, lname and address. So you can see that we can easily write a relational algebra expression from the query tree.